Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and we are back. We've been away for a little bit. I have been quite sick, but I'm here. I'm just so excited to be streaming, so excited to be playing some decks, and you know we had to start it off with a Kiwiinbacon creation. They posted this this one up over on Hearthstone, saying Game of the Year Definitive Druid Edition, and posted a link to a video of them playing what they say is the game of the year, the best game that they've played. So definitely, if you are watching on YouTube, links down in the description. Jump over to Hearthstone or YouTube, check that video out. But this is the deck they were playing. It's an interesting kind of token druid. This is more reminiscent of what Token Druid looked like in the past. Current Token Druids follow the kind of bread and butter Druid deck creation design process, where very light in the early game, using a lot of ramp to transition into the late game, getting a lot of power out of Ultimate Infestation, and instead use cards like Whispering Woods in order to build a board. Have cards like Violet Teacher, and they build a wide board this way in the later game, but they're very good at creating a board out of nowhere, and also with Soul of the Forest, keeping a board, and then transitioning into exactly what we want to do, which is Savage Roar our opponent and kill them. So instead, Kiwi's gone for the old school style, where you start low, apply some pressure, and use that to transition into that late game, or rather that mid game of Savage Roar and stuff. So we start low with Firefly and Mekaru. Mekaru is actually a really good pick here. I can definitely get behind it, make sure that we always have a board, even if we are against another deck that wants to compete for board. In the 2-drop slot, we've got Power of the Wild, which is the first of our cards that reward us for having a wide board. We've got 2 Loot Hoarders here. I assume this is to help us find our more high impact cards, and also because at the moment the 2-drop slot is pretty anemic for most classes. That's why we see cards like Armani Berserker coming back into the fold. And we've got a 1-of Druid of the Swarm here, which kind of nice flexible card. We'll move on to the 3-drops. So this is where things get really chunky, and you see there's just 1 Landscaping in the deck, and Landscaping is a great card for the deck. It's produces 2 minions, which helps us with all of our go wide strategies. It gets us a very good rate. We get 4/4 worth of stats for 3 mana, but as you can see, Kiwis kind of had to start clipping on these, cutting down these 3-drop slots, because otherwise it just gets way too chunky. You end up ruining your curve. So we've got great cards here like Crypt Lord. It's one of the best cards in the deck. Really helps protect, as I say so many times, really helps protect our brittle minions, which we do have quite a lot of. And really helps us keep our board, which is really important. We got Microtech Controller, another great card from the Boomsday expansion, that goes even wider than Landscaping. Also allows you to play a couple of mech synergies if you would like. And then we've got the aforementioned Savage Roar. We've got 2 tech cards here. We've got Blood Knight and Void Ripper. Blood Knight obviously very good against and with Giggling Inventor. Also quite good against Odd Paladin in general. And Void Ripper can help us flip those individually large minions so that we can take them out with our small minions. Moving on to the 4-drop slot, we've got Branching Paths. Fantastic all-round card, one of my favorite cards, and one of my least favorite cards as well. I'm always happy to be casting it, but never happy when it's cast against me. And just a singleton swipe here, some nice single target removal. Interestingly, absent is Soul of the Forest, which is a card that I would never really recommend leaving home without. But I'm interested to try a list that doesn't play it, or doesn't have to rely on it, rather. Into the 5-drop slot, this is where we start hitting our really high impact cards. We've got Bittertide Hydra in here, 5 mana, 8/8, just huge stats. Fungal Mancer, another card that rewards us for having a very wide board. Giggling Inventor produces a board, helps protect us. Just the 1 in here, I'm not sure if that's a concession to not having a really chunky 5-drop slot, or if it's a concession to everyone else playing Blood Knight and wanting to not let them benefit a lot from that. And then we've got Living Mana. which is a fantastic card. Really lets us kind of go for broke. If in the situations where we, make a board, it gets killed. Make a board, it gets killed. Living Mana can be that final last hurrah to hope that it gets you over the line, which I really like. And then we've got the most interesting cards in here: a one of Malfurion and an Ultimate Infestation. We've played Zoo decks before, like Zoolock decks with Gul'dan in it before, and it's a very it's not to everyone's liking. These kind of 10-drop cards in your aggressive deck. On one hand, it can be a brick in the early game. If all you want to do is curve 1, 2, 3, 4, and your hand is 1, 2, 10, 4, you're kind of missing a turn there. But it also gives us an out to playing a long game. Allows us to dig, find some more gas, and maybe even win a game that we otherwise wouldn't without it. So that's the deck. We'll jump into some games, and maybe we can have a Game of the Year Definitive Druid Edition.
Versus Valera.
You're against a rogue.
You're back.
I must protect the wild.
Nice, so definitely keep the Firefly. We'll send everything back. Hope to hit a curve. I like Firefly, especially in the situations where we are mulliganing for curve, because Firefly can help us pad our curve. If we mulligan into 1, 2, 2, the Elemental will help us go 1, 2, 3. Make sure we're getting the most impactful turns as possible. Neri, oh my gosh. Chat has been graced by Neri Seller. How are we doing? I am back in the driver's seat. I'm happy to be here. Charles, you're excited for Red Dead Redemption 2? Yeah, I'm really excited for that too. I probably won't be able to play it though. It doesn't have a PC release, right? It's just going to be console only. Neri, you good? But great to see you back. It's good to be back for sure. It's really good to be back. I saw you you got like a hosting gig for a Hearthstone event at a local net cafe or something. Tell me about that. If you can, of course. I don't know if it's under wraps. So we're up against the Quest Rogue. Quest Rogue. I don't know how the Quest Rogue Token Druid matchup is supposed to go. I guess we'll do our darndest. Kind of exactly what we were talking about there with Firefly, where we never hit a 3, but we did hit another 2. I think it's getting a PC release, can't remember though. Kind of, they want me to run fireside gatherings as well as some workshops for newbies. Okay. What, how do I word this? Like, compensation question mark, I guess, would be how I would word it. I guess, is it a kind of thing where they're like, please come down and we need you to do this thing for us? Or is it like, we're doing this thing, can we work with you to try and help make it better or something like that? Just because I come from a... Oh my gosh, this Blood Knight. Oh! Give me the chocolate. Yes! Thank you. Yeah, I come from a, tournament organizer background where I always want to know, like, is it exposure dollars or is it, because I consider myself, especially when it comes to running tournaments and things like that, this sounds hoity-toity, but I consider myself a professional, and oh, Vanish! It's brutal. At least we didn't go for the Power of the Wild. Yeah, I consider myself a professional, and professionals get paid, or at least get to dictate terms to their liking. Like, you know, if someone would be like, "Hey, can you just come down and MC an event?" Like, oh, like sure, like I'd consider that for exposure dollars if it's an event that I was going to go to. It doesn't mean I have to take time off work. It doesn't mean I have to travel interstate or something like that. Happy to do it once for a bit of fun. That's a good idea. Honestly, I think fireside gatherings once a month, maybe fortnightly, that's probably the right probably the right amount of time, I think. Yeah, let's start pushing some damage. Hopefully we'll try and get them low enough that we can alter an infestation. The dome. That's pretty much it. Just need to rock up, have it running smoothly, need to promote, etc. No need to promote. Oh, they're doing all the promotion? Well, that's good. I mean, that I like that, because it means any promotion that you do is almost purely for yourself, which is really important. But yeah, fireside gatherings are really cool, and especially if it's in like an area that you like, or there's people within that community that you like. That's great. I've heard horror stories of fireside gatherings, but I've also, all the fireside gatherings that I've run have been great. Like, it's really interesting to see. You do see some people who probably would be a bit toxic online, but they are on their best behavior for public events like that. Alright, is this lethal? 3, 6, 10, yes.
Mushroom power!
Yeah, fireside gatherings are great. If anyone hasn't been to one, hit it up. Alright, Warlock here.
Your souls
Like you're playing the token Druid.
protect the wild.
I want to go to one, but I don't want to have to go to the city for one. Yeah, it is tough. I know, I mean, for the Melbourne people, I believe there are some fireside gatherings run pretty often at like Monash when school is on, and maybe even in like Glenferrie or something. They might run one there. Not too sure. The big problem with fireside gatherings, and I've talked about this before, not necessarily a problem, but one of the issues with running them is that you need to have a venue that deems a fireside gathering worth running. And a lot of the time that boils down to either net cafes or PC bong, whatever you want to call it, or bars. Not a great start here, but the Crypt Lord could help us lock the board down. Oh yeah, in WA, that must be horrible. Yeah, you'd have to make your own if you were out regional or something like that. So, you know, I can appreciate the what word do I want to use here? The industrious. Double Crypt Lord. All the way. Ew. But yeah, you need to find the right venues to want to run it. And even then, like, what do we know? Living Mana.
The sky will devour all.
Even then, yeah, there has to be like, there's like a minimum level of infrastructure required. You know, if you want to maximize the amount of people that rock up, you want to have an internet connection available for them. You want to have Wi-Fi, which is an issue for a lot of bars. They won't have Wi-Fi capable of handling it for, you know, so many people.
Mushroom power! Find a room! Find a room!
What are we trying to be careful of with? This Blood Knight's been pretty on point lately. Good Games do it occasionally. Yeah, I saw Good Games put a thing out. At least I think it was in Adelaide store, where they were just like, "Yep, all Good Games stores are going to try and do more fireside gatherings, or like consistent fireside gatherings." But in Melbourne, I'm not sure if they're following the same ideas.
Glory to the Sindora!
Find a room! Mushroom power!
Just trying to think if there's like a defile that they can set up here. I'm not sure. Glory to the Sindora. Yes. So we could Branching Paths. Could Malfurion. Kind of feel like we want a Malfurion.
Circle of life.
I don't know if we want to go Taunt or Poisonous though. I think we'll go... Poisonous sets up a Defile? No, actually it doesn't. I'm gonna go Poisonous. It does set up a Defile. So that's why we'll trade on each other.
My turn is not. Find a room!
I'm so concerned with Defile. Tournament entry is buy a beer, pretty much my dream. Tournament entry is buy a beer, pretty much my dream, to be honest. Yeah, I can really get behind, like, I used to play a lot of, not a lot of, for a little bit I played poker at a pub, and their thing was, you know, your tournament entry would kind of come with a meal. I don't really want to run into a that thing that kills all the things.
Find a room! Find a room! Light and rot.
That thing that kills all the things. Yeah. Well, now we've got them dead to swipe. Got him.
Light and rot.
Da, 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 da. Alright. See if we can go through here. Alright.
Watch your
The Rogue.
back.
I must protect the wild.
I don't like keeping a 3-drop going first, especially when we only have 4 1-drops. And we have so many 3-drops. So this is definitely a worse hand. We'd rather this be a Crypt Lord, but hopefully we'll be okay. Our opponent, oh, we need to change to the Lemonade card back. Look how bright this is. Had a local pub approach us to do something similar, but it was a bit out of team and not really viable financially. Ah, those 2 words. Viable financially. It's a tough position to be in. It's also really something I want to explore that I'm not sure about is how Hearthstone players react to entry fees in for tournaments. Because, you know, with Magic players, for instance, it's kind of ingrained in the culture that, you know, if you're going to play a tournament, tournaments cost money. So they straight up cost money, but there's also an expectation there where someone's going to get rewarded at some point. Sometimes that's everyone getting a little bit. Sometimes it's, you know, a very few people getting a lot. In the case of, you know, someone winning, you know, they want to.
This guy's a toast.
That's pretty good. Someone winning, they want to be rewarded for winning, which is fair enough.
To the Sindora.
Indeed, when we had a free venue, entry fees 100% went into the prize pool. With the pub deal, they'd be buying food. Yeah. It's also for fighting games, not Hearthstone. Ah, interesting. But yeah, I'd like to know how, if... oh, jeez. We really bricked it, didn't we? Ugh. Give me some options. Sure. Let's play our terrible shield block. But yeah, like, and when it comes to entry fees, like, how much is too much? Like, if you could ascertain that Hearthstone players are willing to pay $50, $100, $200 for a tournament, but that tournament has to be you know, a high-class venue. It needs to have, you know, equipment supplied, you know, like you've got a whole bunch of iPads or whatever. Cool. Equipment supplied, you know, Wi-Fi on Dolo. Like, are people willing to pay for that experience? How many people are willing to pay for that experience? I think we our start just wasn't good enough against this this rogue here. Yeah, because once you ascertain what people are willing to pay, then you can start working backwards to find the right experience.
We hunger for vengeance.
Trading. That's so weird. We probably should avoid Druid. I was thinking so much like, no, I want to keep them like this so we can trade, but I think we should have just avoided Druid, traded two of our trees, and then I guess kept another tree and traded it for the, like, bumped into the Thalnos.
There once was a man from Gilbert.
But yeah, if people are only happy to pay, you know, if there's like a limit, or it's like 90% of people are happy to pay $10, 50% of people are happy to pay 20, 5% are happy to pay 50 or more, then you can at least like balance things out and be like, okay, well, you know, we'll run this $10 event, but it's not going to be the greatest event ever. I'm not sure if we actually want to flip the Neutrons, because this is the kind of deck that would play Fan of Knives. AFK for a bit. No worries, Neri. Got things to do. But yeah, what other games are people excited for? Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely up there. I know I'm excited. Frozen Synapse 2 released today, I think, or yesterday. And that's like I was really interested in the first Frozen Synapse, but never got into it. I think I was probably like playing WoW or something at the time. But I totally consider picking it up and just jamming some games. Maybe showing everyone what it's all about. It's a very interesting, like, kind of turn-based, but also real-time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Guess we're not dead. Looking pretty dead, though. Got Disgaea 5 on PC coming out as well, which I'm excited for. I haven't played... I played Disgaea 1 and 2 very little, but after seeing the Disgaea 5 speedrun at one of the Games Done Quick, it was actually really interested me. And a lot of the runners said, you know, hey, it's a really accessible game. And, you know, I'm definitely going to trust someone's opinion on the internet, right? Doing a bit of landscaping yesterday. Right. Summoning some tree boys. Some Trent from Punch Bowls. Okay, well if our opponent doesn't kill us, we might be able to get back in the game with Malfurion. If our opponent doesn't kill us. Also got the Lord of the Rings LCG. They released a patch yesterday,
So many options.
which I'm keen to check out. It's got some balance changes in there. You might have seen the video up on the YouTube channel. We've played some of that.
There once was a man from
Oh my
Gilbert.
gosh. Why are you trading? Why are you trading, friend? Just kill me.
The scourge will devour all. The circle of life is over.
Have some mosquitoes. Some Trent from Punchies, yeah. I've been meaning to ask Pig, because his, oh, what is it? His impression of one of the units, the StarCraft units, sounds so, it's starting to sound so much like Trent from Punch Bowl, which is a really obscure reference if you are not from Australia. Are we super dead to this scenarios? Probably. 3, 6. No, we're not dead. Remarkable. I mean, we are dead, but we're not dead. How do we figure out a way out of this?
Job's done.
3, 6, 10, the rest. Well played, opponent.
Masterful.
Well played.
You win. I can rest now.
So a bit of a weak start there, kind of seeing the... I guess one of the weaknesses of playing... It's weird, you see one of the weaknesses of not curving, but you also see one of the strengths of playing the more modern style of token, where, like, you know, you don't have to rely on your 1, 2, and 3 drops. You can just try and ramp up a bit and get into the more impactful side of things. So what can we say about the deck? I think it was really good. I think the tech cards were the correct choices. We didn't really see any situations where Soul of the Forest would have been super duper useful, except against that Warlock, but we seem to do just fine. I'd like to see maybe some exploration in the 2-drop slot. Like, it feels like this is just not the best. It feels like there could be a better selection of 2-drops here, but it may just be the state of the game where, you know, these are just the options that you've got, and you just got to deal with it. Yeah, even maybe go to like a Keleseth list, so we can cut all the 2s, which means you lose Power of the Wild, but you do get Keleseth. Then you can cut like landscaping and stuff, and play Saronite chain gangs and stuff. So that's just a bit of an idea. I'd like to explore that space, but regardless, thank you for watching the video. If you are watching on YouTube, all the links are down in the description, including a link over to the Hearthstone article. Jump over there, give Kiwi a lovely +1. Check out that video. Check out that game, the Game of the Year Druid Edition. All my links are down there as well, include a link over to Twitter. Best place to catch me at Tommy_Wave. And until next time, please stay safe and do stay wavy. Bye.